I would have realized you made a mistake differentiating between prose and play, right? So what the question would have asked was for you to describe one main character and one challenge they faced in either Miguel Street or The Man of the House, right? Those are prose. Old Story Time would be a play, right? Now, in order for us to obtain that, I would have selected for us to use the Teal method. Have you ever heard of this before?
Yes.
Alright, so you would have just heard the name, but you're not really familiar with it.
Yes.
Alright, so Teal, T stands for topic, E is for evidence, the other E is for explanation of evidence, and L is the link or the concluded paragraph. Right? Good. Now, from the play Miguel Street, give me one character you would have admired most. Oh, good. Well, I would have admired Bogart, right? So let's do a comparing and contrasting here quickly. So Bogart and Pogo, right? That would be our topic, right? Now to describe our character now, we would have to use describing words in order to touch on sensory details. What would be our sensory details? Good. So when you, certain words you use in your descriptive paragraph, it must lead the readers to visualize how Pogo or Bogart look, right? Now for my own, I have Bogart was a man without a name. He got his name from TV films, the Casablanca show, right? So picturing this tough guy image to his neighborhoods, his neighbors, people of his neighborhood. He had small eyes, small and sleepy eyes, fat face, gleamy black hair. He liked playing cards. He had plump arms, and he was also a born man and striving to be a tailor. Right? That was my description about Bogart. So let's hear yours.
Pogo is a character who called himself a carpenter, but never really makes anything. He talks a lot about the works he's going to do, but rarely make anything useful.
Good. Now that would be a vivid description of your character, right? Now our evidence we can see the evidence would be one of the challenge they faced, right? So one of the challenge my favorite character from Miguel Street faced was struggle of identity. What was your character's challenge he faced?
Being seen as useless by others.
He was being seen as useless by others, right? So for my explanation now, I'm saying Bogart struggled with identity, mainly because he was influenced by a role model from a TV show. That's where he got his name Bogart, because he portrayed, this tough guy role, and it led him to feel inadequacy and insecurity when it comes to his identity, like he don't know who he is anymore. Right? So let's hear your reason or your explanation as to why you think people saw Pogo as a useless man.
I think this because work or earn money, which leads him to losing respect in the community and even his wife.
Good. So because he never used to work, he never had no money, nobody respect him, he lost down to even his wife. Right? So that was the reason for people seeing him as useless in the community. Right? So that was one of his challenge and his reason right there. So you see we got our topic, evidence, and explanation there. Good. And lastly now, this would be our concluding paragraph. What can we say in conclusion? For me, for Bogart, I can say, well, with this challenge that he would have faced, it shows difficulties of him achieving his own dreams because he wanted to be a tailor, but because he taken influence from TV shows, he don't want to be a tailor anymore. He want to be this tough guy. And after you see another TV show, you go and I had to be another person and another person. So all of that led him to confusion. He don't know what he wants to do anymore, right? So that was where he was struggling with his identity. So now you tell me, which part or what can you say was Pogo's concluding paragraph? What Pogo can go in paragraph B?
Pogo managed to build something but still called it a thing without a name when first in tax.
Good. Even though people see him as useless, he still managed to build something. But the only problem was that he still named it a thing without a name. Right? Good. Now you think that all of those information that you would just gather together, can you put them and make one paragraph for me? And there we would have the main character described and one challenge they would have faced.
Yes.
Good, perfect. Now, for homework, you're going to list or name your main characters like what we did here. Name your main character using the teal method and describe one challenge they would have faced. Good. Thank you so much, Shania.